Design rules. Do we break them or keep them? Today, we're going to talk about breaking design rules that no longer serve us. Whether it's using neutral colors, everything has to be symmetrical, to mixing metals. Do we really need to follow those rules? Hop in today, sit down with me, let's have a home therapy session, and really dig into what's going to work for us in our home that we truly want. Personal story here. I have a tiny little work from home Nook, and it used to be a dungeon. There was no natural light. Like in the brightness of a sunny, hot summer July day, it was literally dark. It's just situated when you come up the stairs, there's just no light. And it was just not a very inviting place. Fast forward probably 6 years in, we added a sun tunnel, which again, game changer, guys. If you ever have a second story home and you want light into areas that you can't put like a skylight in, the sun tunnel has these flexible tubes where they just poke a hole in your roof. It doesn't get in the way of the structural areas of your roof. They wind it around to the ceiling part of where you want it. And because natural light bounces, all that natural light floods through the tube into your space inside your home. It is amazing. So then, I'm like, great. Now I have this wonderful white space. It's way too white. And the last thing that a lot of people think about is painting a small space dark. However, as a designer working with clients, I've realized, and also knowing the neuroscience about colors and paint, a lot of times smaller spaces with darker, moodier colors calms our brain down. The neuroscience of having that cocoon, if you think about in nature, this is like an image that I tell my clients all the time, which is think about Bambi. And do you remember those scenes in Bambi where they're in the forest, they're really, really snuggled in a small, cozy area, and all surrounding them is darker, moodier colors, but didn't it feel warm and cozy and safe? So same thing, small spaces can have darker, moodier colors, and in fact, that calms down the frenetic energy in our biochemistry in our brain, and we feel safer. So break the rules that small spaces need lighter colors to feel big. Because if you want to feel safe and cozier and small in a cocoon haven-like environment, then paint a small space darker. It's okay. Here's a few reasons why design rules get in the way of people wanting to enhance their environment. Like I said before, homes should reflect the people that live inside them, not trends. So find ways that express your personality, your lifestyle, and if it isn't in the rule book, who cares? But there is a fear of doing it wrong, and that's what keeps people at home feeling stuck and small, and their limiting thinking prevents them from choosing furniture styles or colors that might expand their feeling at home, and actually it limits it and narrows it down. So really think about when you're feeling stuck at home, what fears are coming up for you and what ideas, preset ideas. Maybe growing up, your mom or dad said, nope, this room is only for this function. But in this time and age, we need every space to be multifunctional. So sorry, dad or mom, my house, my dining room is going to also multitask as our ping pong table area for my teenage kids because I want them to invite friends over and hang out and make core memories. Overthinking leads to inaction. When we feel like, again, there's something that should be done versus, hey, let's explore, let's experiment, then everything becomes narrow and simple things feel impossible. But when we expand our thinking and we just do it, just experiment, put that chair in the corner that you thought would never fit, or buy that style of rug that you thought, oh, this is so out of the box for me, but I really love it. Put it in the family room or the living room that you want. And also, maybe you don't want a kitchen island like me. I took away my kitchen island for our kitchen renovation. I had waited 12 years for this renovation. I took our island away. I made a large peninsula instead, and that forever has made a huge difference in how we use that space. Which leads me to the next point. Your home should evolve with you. We are organic beings that are constantly growing and changing, and our needs change. This room that I'm in is actually our old family room, and then it became our dining room, and now it's my podcast area. So there's a fireplace back here, and that is stationary, but you can see how my family's needs have evolved from playpens and Fisher Price toys in the space where I'm sitting right now. You can imagine that, to a space where we eat, and now it's where I'm talking to you. I rounded up some home therapy design rules that you can break. So, what are some design rules that I feel like you can break, especially with home therapy in mind? First, stick to one design style. Do we really have to? There's so many different ways to blend styles. I mean, look at Japandi. It's the Zen Asian style that's very minimalistic, and then combine it with the Scandinavian style of mid-century modern furniture and colors and tones. You combine the two, and it becomes this really richer, deeper textured style that has its own personality. So it doesn't feel too one way or the other, but the blend of the two styles is cohesive. So same way, there's eclectic styles where you add bohemian and vintage styles, thrifted things with the bohemian colors and textures to, I mean, I'm in Southern California, so we have our California modern, which is some mid-century modern furniture that's adapted, but the ocean and the beach tones and neutrals come in, and we add those soft blues and creams. It's a beautiful mixture of different things that become a cohesive design. So no, you don't have to stick to one design, but make it cohesive in your colors and tones. So again, lots of variations, but if you stick to a similar color palette, then you can win. And for your home therapy fix, it's finding a mixture of styles, but making sure your colors and tones are cohesive. Your color palette is all in the same family that complements each other. Then you can mix however you want. A lot of times, my clients come to me, and I've experienced this too, where I have a solid dining table and I really love the size, the shape. They love the wood feel because perhaps it was a handed down item from their grandparents, but the chairs were very dated or it's not very comfortable. Here's where it can be super fun to try to mix and match your chairs or update your chairs and have it be a different style to the table. To be honest, I think that's the better way to go. Is if you have a table that is a certain style, let's just say farmhouse, and you're like, I don't want farmhouse chairs either. That completely is not the vibe. Then add some mid-century modern chairs to the table or sleek upholstered chairs that it's more contemporary, and soften the farmhouse vibe with another vibe that is cohesive. They're not clashing, but they kind of softly blend together. So again, furniture styles can blend in together and you don't need everything to be matchy-matchy. Another home therapy fix is to layer. Layer one style with another style. So maybe the mid-century modern furniture is your foundation, but then add your Californian colors in your pillows and throws and rugs. It can be such a fun way to experiment and develop your own style. I had a client who loved modern and vintage items, but they were really afraid to mix the two. Once we decided on a very sleek, modern sofa and mixed in side pieces that were vintage and thrifted, it made them so happy that they could achieve the look that they wanted, but that they thought maybe couldn't be achieved because they were too afraid to try. All of a sudden, the space felt personal. It felt meaningful for them because the thrifted pieces brought back core memories, and the modern sofa that was really comfortable, it had the right seat depth, made the space a place where she wanted to sit over and over and over again and spend time in. Small spaces must be neutral and light. Like I said before, small spaces can be dark, moody, and it actually makes your brain slow down and feel safe. So when it comes to a pantry, a powder room, a hallway closet, those are areas that add a punch of personality and also make you feel safe. Now, when you feel safe, guess what happens? Your body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, we make better decisions. We communicate more effectively, and we're happier and more grateful for the things that are around us. It's such a difference in our minds, our bodies. And so, creating an environment that invites us to feel calm and relaxed, it's like the symbiotic relationship. Home therapy fix. Play with the mood of the colors, the wallpaper in a small space. This is your time to again experiment and find that mix and balance of pattern on pattern. I love adding plaids with a solid of another texture. There's different ways to balance things out, but also playing with the different variety of textures and patterns, colors, florals, stripes, vintage rugs versus a monochromatic shag rug. So many different ways to play with the mood in your space. So it doesn't matter how large or small it is. I have so many clients and friends that have powder rooms that are dated, very, very dilapidated. And I mean, I honestly believe the powder room downstairs is the hardest working room in the whole house. And a lot of times people are so afraid to use bold wallpaper. Well, my friend, she decided, she saw my powder room with my mushroom enchanted forest look. She decided to do something super out there. And it is a little niche, but it's what she loved. And she has a thing with tigers. She's Asian and she's the animal zodiac sign. She's a tiger like me. And she found the coolest modern tiger esque wallpaper that was very classy. It wasn't like cheesy. And that became her powder room. And it empowered her every day to use it because she could connect with it. It's the last room that she goes out the door before work. She's kind of just making sure she looks put together, has her lipstick, and that's become her tiger room. She calls it her tiger room. So when it comes to small spaces, do not think small, think expansive, think big. And that is a rule you definitely can break. Another rule to break, never mix metals. Okay, let's really just talk about that. Is that realistic? Even when we're talking about kitchen designs, I have a new client coming up where they want to keep their appliances. It's brand new, and that's great. And it's silver. Of course it is. It's always ends up to be silver. And we are doing brass finishes and everything. Again, if you just highlight the things that you want to highlight in your design, then the silver appliances really just melt into the background. We don't need to get into that matchy metals mindset. It's limiting, it's not realistic, and it just hinders you to feel good in your space. Home therapy fix. Ask yourself, does it feel good for me? And if it's yes, then let the mixing begin. If it feels a little cluttered, a little weird, a little too clashy, then play with it. Design is an art and science. Okay, so just like therapy is art and science, so is design. There's a balance of being creative and finding different ways to express yourself using these design elements. But then the science, which I love, is the neuroscience of it all, the color psychology, the tactile experience, the sensory experiences in the room. There's a balance that only you know how to strike in your home. As a designer, I love helping clients narrow it down because honestly, it is very helpful to have a designer help you. There's just so much out there. Getting an interview, getting an intake form, like how I do with my clients, I help clients narrow down what they want. But at the end of the day, the last decision starts and ends with you and your preferences and how your being feels in response to your environment. Okay, I had a client who had I would say like a dark bronze kitchen pendant, and she just really loved it. And she had spent quite a bit of money on it. And so when she wanted to renovate her kitchen, she really didn't want to rechange or change the pendant. I worked with it because I could tell it really meant something for her. So we kept it, but the rest of the hardware in the kitchen were actually brass. But because this pendant was actually not over the island, it was over there was a separate eating space kind of like near the island. It was another countertop in the kitchen. It worked because it was its own zone. So there's definitely ways where you can be intentional with mixing your metals without it clashing in your face right when you enter the room. Now we get to the fun part. You get to decide what design rule you want to break. I know. Now you're saying, Anita, I don't know what design rule to break. I'm overwhelmed. Well, here's the thing. Look around your room, even think about the 4 domains, because I've talked about it in my previous episodes. Maybe pick a domain, individual, organizational, communal, or renewal. And then think about a design rule that you want to break, something that doesn't feel right, like something in your house that feels it's too sterile, it's not very fun, or it's too big, it's too small. Think of something that's a pain point for you. And then what's your first thought? Is it a design rule? Is it a should, would, could? And then from there, break that should, would, and could and say, no, what if I just decided it's an art experiment? I'm going to be a designer for the day. And if I mess up and it's really, really ugly, so be it. I can change it. It's not like you're going to go spend a lot of money on some art, deco furniture, or maybe you will, but at the end of the day, you have to do what is expansive for you. That's the best way I can put it is creativity is all about taking risks. And if we don't take risks, we don't grow. I can't emphasize that enough. Whether it's design, whether it's being in therapy, whether it's trying a new beauty product or a new food, anything that's new, it's a risk and it can be scary. But if we get ourselves across that line of fear to joy and needing it to have an outcome and breaking those design rules, then our brain, our hearts, our bodies expand. We want to feel free in life. And when we are boxing ourselves in literally at home, there's no growth. And I know you want growth. That's why you're listening to this video. You're watching and getting these home therapy tips because I know you're feeling stuck. I know that design rules feel good to rely on, but it's not cutting it for you and in your home and in your style. So I want to encourage you to take one design rule and break it. And then I want you to come back and tell me. I want you to tell me. You can subscribe to my channel so that you can get more tips like this. And I want to connect with you. So please share your examples with me and let's build our home therapy community together. See you next time.